Hey, my name is Joe Savoie. I am the producer of the Radical Speedsport car show. This is our 49th year. It really is part of the fabric of Moncton. It's been there for so long. We have a few shows that are that way. And it's just, we are the beginning of the car show season. For almost everybody, it's always been. Being a car guy and going into this, as snow starts to melt like it is now, we're starting to see, people are starting to get really excited about, it's time to take these things out and show off what we've either fixed or changed or repainted or bought, or, so everybody's excited about this time of year. So it's really exciting to get ready and get everybody show up at the same place at the same time. It really is something to experience. It's fun when we set up, it's fun when we open, it's fun till the minute we leave, and it's disappointing when we have to go home. Wish it was one every weekend. Owning, running, producing something like this, you never think of how much it impacts everybody else. That's what I've noticed the most, is how much what we wind up doing, putting something together, how much fun it is to everybody else, and how invested they become. It's really, their show. Yes, we rent the space and we put people in it, but after that, it really falls on them. And to watch people get that excited about something that we do, it's really exciting for us.
I'm Lynn Cormier. I'm with Castrol Canada, Territory Sales Rep for Atlantic Canada. Speedsport gives us a great opportunity to be able to market our product to, the real gearheads of Moncton. It's always been like a staple for Atlantic Canada. I've been coming with different cars for the last 30 years, been a part of the drag racing community and the automotive. So be able to blend those two passions and kind of launch the season and launch the start of the year with the summer coming out, starting with Speedsport, makes it an awesome place to start. At these shows, you can really keep it grassroots because you're talking to the people that are actually pouring the oil in their cars for the most part. You're talking to guys that love getting dirty and getting their hands on. So, it gives us the right market that we want to be able to target right now. So we blend and manufacture all of our products in Canada. So it's great to be able to be here. We're launching our new product with Castrol Classics. Castrol Classics is a high zinc oil that all of these guys are going to need to put in all these hot rods. Well, I've been drag racing for 25 years now. Having a sponsor on board like Castrol and being able to work with them and getting to come to all these great shows and be part of the activities, just feel like I'm a pretty lucky girl. Joe and the whole team at Speedsport, they do a great job advertising, marketing, getting the people in the door. It's great to see real fans and get to promote and talk about our brand while we're here. It's amazing to see what's coming out of Atlantic Canada now. We've got a lot of good builders and a lot of good fab people that are just putting out some top-notch stuff, so it's always exciting to be able to see what the build looks like completed, and this is usually the place to do it. Just the one-on-one with all the people that we get to have and the interaction, giving away goodies and little swag, the kids going by. I'm glad this gives me the opportunity to maybe influence a couple kids to either follow their passion or get into the automotive, because it's just a fun place to be. I got into the automotive at 16 buying an Acura Integra and thinking I bought a race car. So yeah, now we're going in the 7 seconds. We won 2 Wallies last year. It's like everything else. You always want to be better, go faster. Well, you get the itch and you get addicted to it. Going fast, having a great team and making it from point A to point B, it's just fun. You get to the racetrack, you get to be with all the people you were with last weekend. There's a community there.
I'm Parker Barrio. I am the owner of Clueless Clothing. Well, Speedsport was always a show that I grew up going to as a kid with my dad. It's always the first one of the season. When I got asked if I wanted to come out and bring the booth, I was like, sure, I think it'd be fun. I always enjoyed going to the show as a kid, so it's cool to have your car in it and your brand in it. I'm almost done university. I'm in my last year. So I was like, screw it, let's do it now. I have more money, I have more time, I have more want. I'm in business in school, right? So like, I don't know, I think everything just made sense and then I went for it. I think shows are very important to the community because it's a place for people to come together. Speedsport specifically is very important because it's kind of like the introducing, it's like a season opener, right? So it allows you to bring your stuff, see your friends after all winter, hang out, you know what I mean? Try some new things. Having an event every month is really important to keeping a lively scene and people like really interested still and coming out and whatnot.
When I took over from Mr. Turner, I promised him and I made it my goal to make sure that when somebody else took it, it would be as good or if not better. So for me, it really, that drive is to make it bigger and better every year. Somebody asked me if I was satisfied last year. Nope. And then they're all kind of surprised by the answer. And I said, oh, don't get me wrong, I'm happy. It was a good show, I'm happy. Satisfied? No, because the day I'm satisfied is the day I'm done.
So I'm Caitlin Bishop, Wayne's daughter of Wayne's Hot Rods and Customs, and I do all of the office work and also I run the CNC machine.
And I'm Wayne from Wayne's Hot Rods. Well, when we first opened up the shop 5 years ago, we took the first car up here. I've been coming to the show for a few years before I end up bringing a car. It was just a nice atmosphere. Everybody is so nice. Like the first year we were here, we had no clue what to do or where we had to go or anything, you know. Met Joe and then everything went from there, right? So, I mean, we had a great time that first year, so I said, well, we got to go back, and then we've been coming back ever since now. Yeah, but this is our 5th year doing the show, and when we missed a couple years because of COVID, right? So, I always came up from Halifax, and we just walked around for the day and left and went home again, right? You know, because we didn't know nobody, we just came up and watched, and I said, oh, one day I got to bring a car here because this is a cool show. And anyway, like I say, eventually we did bring a car, and we got best paint for the first car we brought here. It worked out pretty good, and that hooked me then. Okay, we got to go back.
Wayne's always kind of done paint and body work.
Yeah.
He was in collision for how many years?
About 25 years. I was doing collision work at a dealership. I did a little bit of work at home on the side, you know, and then it got busier and busier, and then eventually I quit my collision job and opened up my own shop. Everybody's getting their cars out. It seems like now it's spring, it's like everything is starting to open up again, and there's more people hanging out and going to see cars, and you know, and that's a lot of fun for us because that's our business too, right? You know, I mean, we get to go to shows now and talk about ourselves and, you know, promote, right? You know.
Get to see your car friends.
Most of us are still here. The biggest thing I've seen change over the years is, I think, disposable income has kind of increased. You can see it in everything that everybody drives. The import section has really stepped up their game in the last 5, 6, 7 years. It's really changed a lot from when I took over to where we are now, which has nothing to do with us. It's just guys bringing in these cooler cars and doing great stuff. But again, those guys might have been in their mid-20s, are now in their mid-30s. And you know, life changes, income changes, making more money, bringing cooler cars, getting as crazy about cars as we are. I think that's been the biggest change that I've seen since I've took over. I've been a car nut since I think I first saw my first hot rod. I think I've been a car nut. I would come to all of them. I would do all the shows every year as a spectator. And then about 25 years ago, I decided to finally buy one and build one, and kept doing shows. And I would come to Speedsport every year. As a visitor, the job that I had at the time wouldn't allow me to be able to be gone that time of year for a weekend. And it's more than a weekend, it's 4 days with kind of setup and everything. So you're 4 or 5 days gone. I just couldn't do it that time of year. One year, I just happened, I think because of Easter, we wind up being before the 15th of April, and I had time. So I had built a new car, so we came. And I just heard something in Mr. Turner's voice that I'm thinking he's looking to, you know, do something different. And I was looking for something else, right place, right time, I guess. So I approached him, and he was willing to switch.
When
name's Greg Blair. I own Outlaw Rides in the trailer store here, and we're just a bunch of hot rodders. I come to Speedsport because when I was a kid I came to Speedsport. So growing up and loving cars, I just always came to this show, and then of course over the years knowing Greg Turner and Joe and all those guys. It's a great venue for the hot rodders and the bikers. It's just really important, I think, to the whole crew. You know, the show is Speedsport. It's not just a car show, so it's from lifted trucks to bikes to everything, and you know, it's just something different. I always brought cars, but in the last couple of years we've been bringing bikes, and I think it goes well and everybody really enjoys them. It's good for us. Really, with any show that I go to, I've done a lot of shows, and you know, it's really about the people you meet. You know, it doesn't matter if you like cars or bikes or lifted trucks or whatever it is. It's about the people, not so much about the show or about what the show does. It's about all the people and all the camaraderie with all the people. Outlaw Rides is just another thing that I think, you know, the bike business is a huge business and people really enjoy the bikes. We come here so people know where we are, know who we are, and just be part of the whole system. You know, it's all about getting people warmed up in the spring, and this is the kind of the kickoff show. So everybody gets their blood pumping, everybody tries to get their cars or their bikes finished for the show. So it's a start for the season for everybody. I've come to this show since I was a little wee kid, and I'll continue to come here as long as it runs.
My name's Gab Jones. I drive a 2008 Subaru Impreza. I know it's gonna sound like really basic, probably Fast and Furious, not gonna lie. And like maybe like the car, like the actual movie cars, relating and like vibing with people, you know, like you get good ideas when you see other people's build. It's like, you know, like you're building your own project, and like in a way it's like you get to see like how like people build it different. It kind of gives you like creativity at the same time, you know, like it's like, oh, like he did it that way. And then
name's Cameron. Drive a 2006 G35. My dad had like an old car, I don't even remember what it was. And I just used to play with Hot Wheels growing up. And then I bought a 2005 Accord, got headlights for a birthday gift. I can't really tell you what started it, but I just always enjoyed it. I think the main thing is just like seeing everyone. Just new stuff too all the time and what they do to their cars. And it's more so social. I love seeing everyone. It brings everyone together, you know. You walk around, like every corner you turn, I see someone I know.
My name's Pierce Crossley. I drive a K-swapped 8th Gen Civic. My father, he's been in automotive tech for the last 26 years, so growing up always holding the flashlight, kind of doing like the whole like helping out thing in the garage. As far as like what got me into cars was really like seeing like the older guys around town in their hot rods, doing their things with their old Camaros and stuff. That kind of really, like just the noise in general kind of directed me towards cars. Honestly, I kind of like to see what's new, right? Like you kind of keep up with like everybody's builds through social media, but as far as like seeing what people are really trying to show off, you only kind of get to see that thing at shows. And I like to see the innovation side of it, seeing how people are gonna try to stand out from other people. So like see like the trucks behind us and like the cars all around us. Like there's so many different groups that are trying to represent something differently, and for me it's really important for me to see like new ideas. Like everybody's so positive, and like yeah, there's cars that people like and people don't like, but as a whole everybody's just here to see what everybody can create, and it's really like a positive space, I think. Well, you see like these car shows, they bring a lot of different age groups together. I find like you see guys that are like 60s, 70s, and you see kids that are not even older than 10 years old coming with their parents, and it's kind of like introducing them into a hobby that's very healthy.
My name's Rennie Casey, and I'm a member of the Ford Country Club, and I'm from St. Philip, New Brunswick. Oh, I've always loved cars. I've always loved cars. When I was 16 years old, I had a 50 Ford. Well, this is a 49, and it's the same car. I've always wanted another 49 Ford. And I built this one here. I've had it now for 13 years. And I love my car. I love old cars. I've got several old cars, but I love it. It's got a 302 motor with flat top pistons and a high ride dome, and it works good, and it's got a 5-speed overdrive and a Mustang rear end if you want to go for a long cruise. Well, it cruises along real good, so it's a good cruising car. Oh, this brings a lot of money into the community. And I belong to the Ford Country Club, and we have our car show here in July, if anybody's interested, or June apparently, right here on Father's Day in Riverview. So yeah, we contribute to a lot of charities and stuff, the Blind and Deaf School and the shelter for women, and so there's a lot of charities that we donate to and stuff. Well, I like old cars. Like I say, I'm 74, so of course I've had a bunch of these old cars, and I like old cars, and it makes a nice weekend coming in here, and it brings money into the community, of course, and I just like driving old cars. I like fixing them. I like repairing. Like this one here, I had all apart this winter, and I totally restored it. I remember when I couldn't afford a car and I didn't have one, how I wanted one so bad to go down there. And I finally got to the point where I've had something I could drive there. And yeah, the Atlantic National is a big deal. It's a reason to get up in the morning for one thing, and it's something to live for. We plan these, and it's like I say, it's good for the community. I mean, it brings a lot of money into the community, gets you out of the house, gives you something to do without getting in too much trouble.
I'm Nicholas Richard. I'm from Cook, and I drive a 1995 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. One of my buddy, he been working on cars. He's on his 36th car that he's on. He's only 22, and I just love the cars, the way it looks, the way it feels, different engines. I'm trying to learn more about cars as I go. Trying to make it a passion. Seeing the different types of cars and how people customize them, like based off their personalities and all that, different rims, how high, how low, trucks, even the paint jobs that they use or the wraps and all that. I like meeting new people that knows a lot about cars that can educate me at the same time. It's like a learning process at the same time, because we like to express how we like to ride our cars, how to show the newer generation and old generations of how cars have changed through time, because you got an old 1990s car is going to be completely different than a 2021, you feel me? So it's like you can see the difference of how they were built and structured engine-wise, mechanically wise and stuff, even internals and the seatings and all that.
My name is Will Northrup. I founded Stancy's with a good friend of mine, Tyler Mahaney, back in 2010, 2011, 3 or 4 years ago now. I invited Morgan to join in, and so we kind of run it 50-50.
So my name is Morgan, and like Will said, came on about 4 years ago. I have a graphic design background, so doing all the decals and things like that, t-shirt designs.
We definitely had a few years where we really kind of took a step back, and that's where you'll see people like Complex Union stepped up and like they're doing awesome things. So this started a couple of years ago, the talks of this. We talked with Joe, and we obviously always attend Speedsport. The biggest thing with Speedsport is it's generally was geared towards people who have like your classic Fox Body Mustangs or your Resto Mods or the Corvette Club and Old Nova, stuff like that. And we've always had kind of the import section, or as Speedsport calls it, the tuner section. The biggest difficulty that Joe was having was like he didn't have a really good connection with the import community. So that's sort of where he came to talk to us and said, look guys, you know this better than I do. Let's kind of partner together and make something better of this. Joe called us a couple of months before the show this year and said, we want to connect with you and see what you guys can do. Immediately after that call, I called Colin from Complex Union and I said, hey, Joe is looking for us to make a bigger impact in the import section. You and I are both going to be there. We might as well do the best we can. Let's make this section our own. Short term, so we only had about a month and a half to kind of get this going. Colin and Complex Union stepped up big time. Morgan jumped right to work doing all the graphic design stuff. It's the first time you've ever seen this arena kind of look good with all the marketing and really good quality cars here, like especially if you go pan over Complex Union's booth and you can check out like the FRS behind me. There's a lot of good quality stuff here, so excited to see where it's going to go from there.
It's been good collaborating with Joe and Complex and kind of seeing where things can go for the future of our two clubs. It's been nice building something and bringing it back, because a lot of people are saying, you know, they loved it in the early 2000s and things, so hopefully we can kind of bring that vibe back.
So, I mean, it's the season opener. It's the one that every single year everybody's excited to get out. Cars are finally coming out of storage. Weather's getting a little bit nicer. So it's like our first shot, seeing all of our friends again, but making sure that if we're gonna run some like new merch or new designs, we get a good idea of and good gauge of what people want. And it's all around just like one of those things you kind of do, because in Atlantic Canada, it's always been one of the first shows. They're huge. They're sort of everything. It'd be sort of like saying how important is going to play actual competitive hockey if you just practice all the time. Same sort of example. A lot of us say like we want to build our vehicles for ourselves and have a good time, but we also build this stuff because we want to enjoy it with our friends. And there's nothing better than bringing everybody together and seeing new things, meeting new people, making new friendships. It's just a good way to kind of connect, and I think shows play the biggest part in that.
Cleveland, and I own Cleveland Design. So it's a shop in St. John, New Brunswick, where we build resto mods. I've been doing it myself personally for probably close to 25 years. I opened a shop 5 years ago, and so we build custom hot rods for customers. Love this show. We come to this show every year, and every year we come, we bring new vehicles as we finish them. So this year you'll see behind, I have 2 that are here that haven't been shown before that we've built for customers. It's a big passion of mine. Yeah, we try to build them the best of our ability for sure. Put a lot of time in the body and the paint. You know, we spend a lot of time on the finish work. I'm fine with that. I think for the culture and the car community, you know, it's really, to me, best outlet for me to bring our products to, and for people to bring as well. It's, you know, if you look at the Maritime Provinces, there is other shows and they're great shows for sure. But as an indoor show goes, and Joe does a great job in organizing it, bringing in a lot of cool products and cars from different areas. For people coming to watch the show, they get a chance to really see different builders, how they build their cars and the stuff they have. For me, it's every year, it's a show I definitely want to be at. I think for me, the biggest part that's really allowed us to be successful, I guess, so far, is we've hit a niche where our shop is one of few that does everything. So not only do we do paint fabrication, we handle the electrical, the mechanical. So basically for the client, we're an operation that they can bring their car to, not worry about it, from start to finish, we'll do it all. So whether it's getting the interior done, again, the mechanical or the outside, it seems like in the area there's not a ton that can do all of that aspect. You know, there's great people that do paint work and then people that do mechanical, but to have it all in one shop allows us, when we build it, to plan ahead a lot better. And you'll note, if you go around and look, we have a rendering on the other side for the black one, the picture. It's just, we do it just like building a house. We do those renderings every time before we start the vehicle. So we sit with the client and go through with them, interview. So we ensure that the dream car they're looking for, we build. So those 2 things, I think, make us stand out for sure. Myself getting excited, obviously it's springtime, summertime coming, but you put so much time into these cars. You know, that Beaumont was a 2-year build. Taking it from where it was to where it is today and having the opportunity to show people. And the thrill for me is, especially for the client, it's always the same thing I chased on my own, is you would know when you complete something, you know, there's a pride there of what it looks like. So I get super excited that, hey, we're going to bring cars that no one's seen, be able to show them to the customers and the clients that are here, and you know, the feedback you get, you know, is a big deal for me. And for the staff that works with me, you know, those guys, it's a big deal for them. You know, they put their hearts into them, and afterwards, for to have it out and to show it, it's a lot of pride. So yeah, that's the deal for me.
Mike Wilson with Haggerty. I look after a lot of the events for Eastern Canada and Ontario here. Me personally, I've been coming here, it's got to be about 6 or 7 years now. It started with the Atlantic Nationals actually, coming down for that whole week-long extravaganza, and then it led me to attending this event. But we've been involved with this Speedsport show for a number of years. We consider this event one of our premier events. It's obviously we get to interact directly with our members, our partners, our club partners as well, but it's really getting in front of the key grassroots members and getting to talk to fantastic car folks and hearing about their cars while they're here. Simple, fantastic people. They amazing cars, amazing stories, but you just can't beat the folks around here. Everybody is so willing to, you know, show you your car and get down and gritty with it. It's you know, open the doors. I've seen so many kids hopping in vehicles here. Just the community in the Atlantic Canada, the car community is like no other. And here at this event, there's so many nice customs. Our program is really geared for the antique, classic, modifieds, obviously some of the newer stuff as well, but this is really where the bread and butter is, and all of the coolest cars come to this show, so that's what we like to see. That's why we're here. We consider one of our main passions is the car hobby, obviously, and part of that is keeping driving alive. How do we do that? And if we don't interact with the actual car community and support great events like the Speedsport car show here, they're not going to continue in the future. So we feel in order to get the youth involved and to keep the hobby going, it's great to get out there and support these events that actually support us. So that's why we get out and enjoy it. We love to see the cars, obviously. We're all car folks too, so it's a nice day out of the office if you want to say, but it's just that interacting directly with the car community and getting the youth involved into it. So we do a lot of youth initiatives at Haggerty. We do youth driving events where we teach kids actually how to drive stick shift vehicles. So we get them behind the wheel of a collector or classic car and teach them, you know, manual transmission and drive the vehicles. So get them involved that way. And then we do youth judging as well for, you know, kids anywhere between 6 and 12 years old, where we get a select number of vehicles that we take them around and teach them about the car, interact with the owners, and then ultimately they pick a car that they've judged and present an award to. So we do a lot of initiatives to get the community going. So that's one of our passions, is getting the youth involved in the hobby, because there's got to be a succession plan. We want this hobby to thrive, right? So one way to do that is get the kids involved with it, right? So like myself, I've got 2 young daughters, 7 and 4. They love the cars. I've got an 87 Cutlass. We're looking at trying to find my grandpa's old 64 Impala, which we just found, and they're gonna be happy to work on it with Dad. So that's what we love to do. So.
Would say I probably did 8 years now. So yeah, I was part of the hot rod community for, you know, maybe 10, 12, 14 years before I actually took over the show. I knew most of the guys, you know, before I got into it, into taking Speedsport over. I'm not sure what came first. It's almost of a chicken or the egg kind of thing, where I'm not sure that is it Speedsport that grew Moncton in general, but even Atlantic Canada into this big of a hot rod community, or did it just grow organically with us beginning and then other shows that followed, especially the Atlantic Nationals and other shows like Stance East and Complex Union putting on their own events? Did that grow this to that point? Was it us, the catalyst, to start it, or was it already there, just lying there? So it's kind of hard to tell what came first, but all I know is that we're all in it together. So as long as we keep pulling in the same direction, we'll all be fine and have fun.